Hello, good morning and welcome to the Breakfast News this morning. I am David Okwakwasile. Beneficiaries of state government empowerment programs urged to strive to become self-reliant. Political parties in the state pledged to promote peaceful elections. Nigerians to pay for national ID card from 2022. European Union accused of complicity in migrant crisis in Libya. We'll begin from Oka, where 86 girls who recently concluded basic self-starter acquisition programs have been presented with startup kits and stipends by Governor Willie Obiano to venture into their chosen enterprises. The event, which took place at the Professor Dora Konyere Women Development Center, brings the total number of beneficiaries under the state skill acquisition programs, a brainchild of the Caring Family Enhancement Initiative CAFE, to 4,446. Correspondent Daniel Ezigwe reports.
The graduates trained at the State Skill Acquisition Center, Oka, had undergone intensive skill programs in different small and medium scale areas, including food and nutrition, tailoring, computer education, arts and crafts, and hair dressing and cosmetology. On display were products by the graduates and evidence of how far they had come in the over 8 months of practical learning in the school. Addressing the people, Governor Obiano, represented by his wife, Chief Mrs. Ebelechukwu Obiano, restated the relevance of practical knowledge and said that the emergence of CAFE, her social intervention scheme, has expedited the model of entrepreneurial independence amongst the youths of the state. He restated that the skill acquisition and empowerment ventures could also be accessed by those who are not from the state but have shown deep passion for self-development and growth.
When the government of Chief Dr. Willie Obiano took office, a lot of things changed for the better. First and most important was that of security of lives and properties. And of course, when you secure lives, you also do the needful for the lives. Because they live in eat, they live in work to sustain themselves.
Earlier, while welcoming the governor, the Commissioner for Social Welfare, Children and Women Affairs, Lady Ndidi Mezuo, said the event was historic in the quest of the state government to build a legacy in the number of persons that have been lifted out of poverty, and cited Chief Mrs. Obiano's immense compassion for the indigent as an immediate solution to humanity's tribulations.
We feel highly esteemed and honored by Your Excellency's presence, as this marks another step towards your effort in equipping as many indigent women and youth as possible with skills of employability, self-reliance, and entrepreneurship in the state.
On his part, the Commissioner for Youth Empowerment and Creative Economy, Mr. Bonaventure Enemale, said the economic value of the skill acquisition program remains huge to Anambra State and called for a sustained drive to its reach.
You've trained over 4,000 people, 4,000 youth, inclusive of the women that have been trained so far. What that implies is that approximately 10,000 people have been lifted out of poverty in Anambra State.
The principal of the Skill Acquisition Center, Lady Amoyibo Ogunwa, urged the graduates to reciprocate the dividends with commitment and diligent use of the resources. Some of the graduates, including Chinenye Joseph, who got a brand new sewing machine and cash for her tailoring business, Ngozi Oyawune, who was presented with a gas oven cooker for her food and nutrition enterprise, and Mary Ann Ozemena, who received a hair dryer for her hairdressing business, said the governor has given them a launchpad for success and pledged to make fruitful use of the kits and the money. In Oka, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
Political party candidates and parties taking part in the forthcoming elections in Anambra State have pledged to abide by the dictates of peaceful and smooth polls. The consensus was reached at stakeholders meeting and signing of peace accord organized by the State Command of the Nigerian Police Force in Amobia. Correspondent Daniel Ezigwe again attended the stakeholders meeting and reports.
In an address, the State Commissioner of Police, Mr. Garba Omar reassured the political parties taking part in the polls that the force will maintain absolute neutrality and professionalism in line with internationally acceptable standards, as well as provide a level playing ground for all political parties in the state. The CP said the command has initiated strategic action plans to ensure the success of the election, including training of officers and men of the command on election security and human rights, and warned that those who work against electoral guidelines will be sanctioned.
The command had initiated strategic action plan in accordance with the vision and mission of the Inspector General of Police, IGP Mohammed Abubakar Adamu, MPM, MNI as follows. Training and capacity building of officers and men of the command on election security and respect for human rights.
The representative of the All Progressive Grand Alliance, ABGA, Mr. Emma Adibe, said the peace accord will deepen commitment to credibility and pledge that the party will honor every step of the process.
If only people can will understand that this is not a do or die affair. It's good to take, defeat or victory with the spirit of sportsmanship.
The state chairman of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Chief Basil Ejidike, called for effective involvement of security agencies in electioneering, separation of polling units from accreditation centers to reduce electoral fraud, and giving equal coverage and recognition to all political parties, amongst other crucial points.
The turnout was okay. It shows the readiness of the Anambrarians to have a free, credible, and fair election. Of course, we've been doing that before.
The Anambra State Coordinator, Community Policing Project Development, Dr. Mas Nachi Ume, suggested the need for adequate security to curb thuggery and other illegal activities. The political parties present later signed the Election Peace Accord, attesting to their readiness for peaceful elections in Anambra State. From the State Police Headquarters, Amobia, Daniel Ezigwe, ABS News.
And still on the elections, the people of Dunukofia local government area have endorsed Dr. Dozie Nwankwo for second term at the Federal House of Representatives. The endorsement was made during the Dozie Nwankwo re-election campaign tour of Ukulu, Nogu, and Ukpo communities in Dunukofia Council area. Correspondent Ogochukwu Okeke, who covered the event, filed the report.
At Afupulu Community Secondary School, Nogu, and Ukpo Market, the member representing Aniocha, Njikoka, and Dunukofia Federal Constituency at the Federal House of Representatives, Dr. Nwankwo, commended the massive turnout of people during the visit and reassured them of effective representation and equitable distribution of democracy dividends if re-elected into office in the next month's elections. He urged the people of Dunukofia to come out en masse and vote for him and ABGA candidates to protect their interests and the Igbo's political platform, promising to do more in his second term. Also speaking, leader Dozie Nwankwo campaign organization, Sir Clement Nwankwo, appealed to Ndi Dunukofia to come out and perform their civic responsibility and vote for Dr. Nwankwo, whom he described as credible candidate, urging them not to allow themselves to be hook-winged by money bag and sugar-coated tongue politicians. In their separate remarks, ABGA chairman, Dunukofia Council area, Honorable Vincent Ezenia, coordinator, Dunukofia Constituency 1, comprising Nogu, Ukulu, and Ukpo, Honorable Ifani Ibebugu, ABGA State Youth Leader, Honorable Peter Ozumba, and President General, Upulu Town Union, Chief Walter Okafor, expressed their preparedness for the election, assuring that the people of Dunukofia are solidly behind Dr. Nwankwo and will give him both votes from all the communities in the area. Some of those who have benefited from the philanthropic services of the lawmaker, including Mr. Onyekachukwu Ezika and Mrs. Regina Ogoji from Ukpo, Mrs. Felicia Echazo, and Elizabeth Njom from Nogu, among others, testified what God has done in their lives through Dozie Nwankwo free medical care, praying for his victory in the forthcoming election. Distribution of APGA party materials to the communities in the area and APGA solidarity songs featured at the event. From Ukpo in Dunukofia Council area, Ogochukwu Okeke reporting for ABS News.
The State Post-Primary School Service Commission, in collaboration with the Universal Basic Education Board, has organized orientation ceremonies for newly admitted students and transferred ones across the state. The event took place at Father Joseph Memorial High School, Aguleri, in Anambra East Local Government Area. Correspondent Theophilus Ukoha reports.
In a keynote address, the Secretary, Post-Primary School Service Commission, Mrs. Josephine Honora, said the orientation program is aimed at driving home the educational vision of Governor Willie Obiano, who saw education as the foundation for the future. She cautioned students against indulging in academic or social misconduct, such as disobedience to school authorities, exam malpractice, absenteeism, truancy, among others.
Develop and sustain effective study habits and become students with positive values, all of which will be the foundation for the survival we all look forward to.
The Secretary of Anambra State Universal Basic Education Board, Mrs. Vivian Anyadubalo, said the theme for this year's program, Education, Foundation for Survival, and the sub-themes, School Rules and Regulations, Effective Study Habits, and Value Reorientation, were carefully chosen to ensure that the students were properly guided in their academic pursuit. In a goodwill message, the Director of Education, Post-Primary School Service Commission, Otocha Zone, Mrs. Victoria Unebu, said the program was designed to equip both new and transferred students to be academically, mentally, and morally stable. The Chairman on the occasion and Director of Media and Communication, Southeast Governors Forum, Mr. Michael Oda, urged education managers to make education more functional, employment-oriented, and more result-oriented.
For starters, what do we mean by orientation, career, guidance, and counseling? How do these terms relate with and to education? What is education? The above terms are familiar. We appear to be conversant with them. Orientation comes from orientate, if you want to use a British style. Otherwise, orient can do.
Earlier in a welcome address, the manager and principal of Father Joseph Memorial High School, Aguleri, Reverend Father Anthony Okoye, charged the students to take their studies seriously. There were various cultural displays, drama presentation, and oath of allegiance by the students. Theophilus Okoha reporting for ABS News.
Ndi Igbo have been urged to forge united front on APGA as their political platform to regain fair bargain in national affairs. The call was made by the Anambra Youth Forum during its extraordinary general meeting in Awka. The group also adopted the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA as its party during the meeting. Queen Anibogo has more on this.
The chairman on the occasion, Mr. Uche Ebebike, while recounting the numerous benefits Anambra people have enjoyed under the Obiano administration, appealed to the electorate to vote for all APGA the forthcoming elections. In a prepared presentation, a patron and chairman board of trustees of the forum, Mr. Simeon Okafo, said youths aspiring for roles in governance should strive to get requisite education and be of good character in order to succeed, stressing that those who fail to get proper education cannot effectively contribute to national development. He said Igbo youths should be properly nurtured and groomed to take active part in the socio-economic and political affairs of the country to contribute to national building and project the Igbo agenda. In his remarks, a professor of physics, Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Professor Gabe Anene, charged all to vote for APGA, noting that charity begins at home. Others who spoke during the event include former President General of Aglizibo, Chief Emeka Aneto, an official of the National Bureau of Statistics, Mr. Jane Nwasike, and Mr. Tabo Udezwe, among others. A communique which was signed by the chairman of the forum, Comrade Peter Ewenike, its secretary, Ms. Chidimma Umejesi, and legal advisor, Mr. Mechi Onwujekwe, also commended Governor Willie Obiano for his people-oriented governance in the state. Question and answer featured during the meeting. From King David Hotel, Oka, Queen Anibogu, ABS News.
You're still watching Breakfast News on ABS. Still to come after the break, Nigerians to pay for national ID card from 2022. European Union are accused of complicity in migrant crisis in Libya. Stay with us. It has come to the knowledge of the Anambra State government that a fast-growing number of political parties and their candidates participating in the 2019 general election boldly claim that Governor Willie Obiano has endorsed them. To make the claim look authentic, many have published in their campaign posters, flyers and banners their pictures with Governor Obiano. Many of the photographs were taken with the governor at public functions, churches, etc., often without the governor knowing about them. Some of these parties and their candidates pledged to Anambra that once they win, they will publicly declare support for Governor Obiano and join or rejoin the All Progressives Grand Alliance (APGA) as the case may be. Some of the candidates have even forged statements purportedly made by the Anambra State Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment, Mr. C. Dawn Adenoba, supporting their candidatures. The statements often appear in poorly written English. The Anambra State government wishes to state categorically that the claims by the parties and politicians are false, misleading and disingenuous. Governor Obiano endorses only APGA candidates in the forthcoming election. As the APGA national leader and chairman of the APGA Board of Trustees, he cannot endorse candidates contesting on the platforms of other political parties. All in the Anambra should, therefore, disregard the claim by the politicians that Chief Obiano has endorsed them when they are not APGA candidates. These politicians want to use Chief Obiano's immense popularity to hoodwink Anambra State voters and make them vote for candidates other than those of APGA. Though the overwhelming majority of our people are too discerning and sophisticated to fall prey to this trick, it is important to bring to the fore the grand design by people seeking public office by all means to cajole in the Anambra. This trick is nothing less than 419 because the perpetrators want to obtain power through false pretense. For the upfront time, the good people of Anambra State are encouraged to vote only APGA so that the ongoing excellent work in various facets of our existence will continue. Anambra State has now become about the most competitive state in Nigeria and the most peaceful and stable in the country. The Anambra will not tolerate anything which can disrupt the present development trajectory. God bless Anambra State, the light of the nation. Announcer, Mr. C. Dawn Adenoba, Commissioner for Information and Public Enlightenment. Welcome back to the news. The National Identity Management Commissioner said registration and issuance of national ID card would attract payment as from 2022. Director General Nimsi Aliyu Aziz made the disclosure at the lunchtime reform seminar on the National Digital Identity Ecosystem Strategic Roadmap for the enrollment of Nigerians and legal residents into the National Identity Database organized by the Bureau of Public Service Reforms. Aziz, who urged Nigerians to register for their identity cards within 3 years, said further registrations will attract an undisclosed fee. He said that the electronic ID card can only be issued to Nigerians registered into the National Identity System and resident citizens according to the Constitution who have attained the age of 16 years and above. Aziz stated that the National Identity Number, NIN, is assignable only to Nigerians. The NIMSI boss noted that the digital functions of the new national ID card were in compliance with developing countries where citizens' identity and data is kept in an ecosystem. In a bid to checkmate quackery in the Nigerian maritime industry, the Nigerian Shippers Council (NLC) has commenced registration of port service providers aimed at regulating their activities. Speaking at a one-day seminar themed registration of port service providers, a panel chair for an efficient port system, Mr. Emmanuel Vontao, Director Legal Services at NSC, said that the essence of the registration and regulation of the services providers by the Council is to ensure the availability of adequate and standard services in the industry, as well as ensuring reasonable profit for the providers of the services. Vontao said the move will also enable the regulator to sufficiently protect indigenous operators from domination by foreign services providers. He also noted that the exercise would help in addressing the presence and menace of unauthorized individuals and groups in the persistent congestion of the port corridors. Oxfam and 43 other organizations have accused the European Union government of being complicit in the tragedy of migrants crossing from Libya to Italy, saying more than 5,300 people have died in the Mediterranean in the past 2 years. 2 years after Italy's EU-backed migration deal with Libya, people are now in even more danger at sea and are being taken back by the Libyan Coast Guard to face human rights abuses in Libya, the NGO said on Friday. With the support of the EU, Italy and Libya in February 2017 signed a deal to stem the flow of migrants from North Africa to Italy. According to the deal, Italy and the EU were to provide support for Libyan coast guards, while Tripoli would prevent people from leaving its shores for Europe. But in the ensuing 2 years, more than 4,000 people have drowned in the central Mediterranean alone, and more than 5,300 in all corners of the Mediterranean Sea, making it the deadliest sea in the world, the group said. The NGOs said some EU countries have deliberately forced many of the organizations conducting search and rescue operations to stop their work by preventing rescue ships from leaving their ports. And now to sports. Despite not making it beyond the preliminary round of the Hungarian Open, Aruna Kadiri gained some points to move a step up in the February ITTF ranking released by the World Table Tennis ruling body. With a win in Hungary, Kadiri picked up some points to move from 26 to 25 in the global rating to remain the highest-ranked African player in the world. Egypt's Omar Assa remains the second-best-ranked African player after the Egyptian star gained 3 steps up to 44 from 47 in the new ranking. Nigeria young star Olajide Omotayo continues his rise as his participation in the Hungarian Open aided his rise to 141 from 146. Also, winner of the men's singles title at the Hungarian Open in Budapest, China's Lin Gonya, is the player to make the most significant progress amongst the leading names on the men's world rankings. He advances 1 position to number 3 and thus equals the highest listing of his career last year. He held the position in both June and August. Remember that you can follow news and programs on ABS from any part of the world by logging on to our website, www.absradiotv.com. You can like us at Facebook at www.facebook.com/ABSRadioTelevision. You can also follow us on Twitter and Instagram at ABS Radio TV. Before we go, the main points again. Governor Obiano has reassured on fulfillment of campaign promises. The governor was speaking at Atani, Obaru Council area during a thank you visit. 86 skill acquisition graduates have been empowered with startup kits by state government. Nigerians to pay for national ID card from 2022. European Union has been accused of complicity in migrant crisis. Those are the stories this morning. The weekend show continues right after now.